Welcome to the 65 people of indie and music industry world. Ladies and gentlemen, C.Titus.
Yeah, I see you now.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
I'm. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I was just like, okay, hopefully the speaker and the video works.
Yeah, everything's works. Thank you so much for accept the interview with me. You rock. I love your sound and your music. Congrats so much. Basically, you describe your sound as a West Coast hip hop. And a melodic soul and just like cinematic sound. How did you develop that blend? Because it's amazing.
Well, being that I'm from Oakland, California, and specifically we talk about Oakland for greater understanding the Bay Area. The Bay Area has a very West Coast mob funk type of style. So growing up, listening to the artists that I listened to growing up, and then coming into my own, developing my own sound into where I am today, I kind of mixed the mob and the funk sound with traditional hip hop from the East Coast, lyrics and great production and a lot of soulful stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what you get from me right now whenever you listen to my music. Over the years, I kind of transitioned from a slightly aggressive lyricist to more. I kind of calmed down a little bit. Style's not too much of a difference, but you get a lot of soulful music, like some Kanye West type of beats. You could put me in a category between Jay-Z, Nas, and like a J. Cole-ish type of sound.
Amazing. Basically, as you growing up with an instrumentation like your father, and how did this help you to approach to the production today?
So being born into music is it's kind of, from my perception, I think it's a little different than just waking up one day and saying, hey, I wanna do music. Since I could pretty much walk and talk, my dad kept me in the studio. So I got to see how much music has evolved from him using a ADAT track to record from reel to reel, which is like way, way back. But just watching him learn how to record through the process while at the same time playing the drums, the keyboard, playing the trumpet. So learning that we are selling sound and everything is about the quality of a particular sound. So as I got older, I always told myself that I want to make sure that when I'm taking the time out to do my music, that I'm incorporating the best quality level of sound.
Yeah.
And so it helps me. It's helped me so much because it allows me to be creative, but not lose the traditional sound of hip hop, but while still keeping up a little bit with the times, but always making sure that the sound is really good and it's quality.
Absolutely. When it was the specific moment when you realized that this was your path?
So I know you've done a little bit of research on me and read a little bit about me, but being that I was in music since a kid, it wasn't until I was 19 years old and I took a trip to Houston, Texas. And so I've always done music. I've always wrote lyrics. I've always recorded since I was 9 years old to 11 years old. But it was a guy that I ended up meeting by the name of, his name was Kanubi, but he was from Houston. And when I was 19, I went out there for a friend of mine's, his family reunion. And when I met the guy, he was an older gentleman, probably in his 40s at the time. I'm 19. And he took us around and he would take us all around through the neighborhoods to just show us, give us like a tourist take us around, just give us tours and get familiar with the area. And every time he introduced us to somebody, he would never say our name. He was like, these my Cali dudes, they rappers. He would just tell us we were rappers, right? So
Yeah.
after hearing it so many times out there, I started to believe, like, you know what, I am because I can rap. And from that very moment at 19 is when I started to aggressively pursue music as a hip hop artist. And that was my journey of actually, when things turned to me having the confidence that I was a rapper at that moment.
Totally. I absolutely love, just like your tracks, I felt there's a lot of structure, timing, and a lot of stuff, How much is hard for you to create that kind of track with a balance from a discipline to, from creativity?
For me,
Yeah.
I think just from my own experience where I'm at now, you can't force creativity. Creativity comes from a emotion, sometimes a vibe, a feeling. So for me, I kind of just create my creative process. I let it come to me. And if it doesn't come to me, I don't rush it. So one thing about me is I don't rush to put out a lot of music because for me, I think that we live in a time today where artists are so focused on putting out a large quantity of music that they've forgot to focus on the quality of the music. So
yeah,
me, sometimes I could take 2 weeks on a track just because I want to reach a specific sound and goal what I'm trying to convey in my message. So when I get into my creative process, I just let it flow. And however long it takes, it takes. Sometimes I've gotten songs where I've gotten halfway through the song and I've been working on the song for 3 months. And I complete the song and then I'll say, well, let me go back. I changed this one thing. And I feel like that gives me an advantage right now in today's time because it allows me to create a certain level of quality with my music by not interrupting the creative process by just trying to pump out a whole bunch of music at once. I'm focused on the quality, not how many songs I can create.
Yeah, totally. How much has impacted you, the fact that you got just like in your family, you parents that have just like worked with a producer for Tupac, and Too Short, how much this has impacted you into your experience, into making your own music?
Well, being that I grew up in music, from my dad to my older cousin Sonny B, rest in peace to Sonny B, it gave me confidence at a young age because I got to see a lot of stuff that most artists didn't have a chance to be around. So a lot of times my cousin would pick me up and he would play songs that he was working on with artists, and I got to hear them before they even came out. So being exposed to music way before the public ear had a chance to hear it, it gave me insight that most people never got a chance to experience. So it gave me a level of confidence growing up. I didn't know it at the time, but it always gave me a little bit more understanding on how I wanted my music to sound, how I wanted people to view me as an artist, and just knowing that my cousin was making a ton of money through producing, it was just a little bragging rights. I always got to brag about it a little bit, but it definitely helped with allowing me to have a certain confidence that I don't think anyone can just have if they never had that experience.
Yeah, totally. How much it's hard for you, as I listen to your music, you got just like a lot of groove, you change just like with a lot of storytelling and sound too. How do you decide which kind of direction you gotta take with your own songs?
Well, I have, after recording so many songs, because there's a lot of songs that I recorded in my history of an experience of life that have never been released. But after you record so many songs, after you record 100 songs 50 to 100 songs, you start having a crate of a particular sound that you can dig from, that you've handpicked. Like, I like how I rapped on this song, I like how I rapped on that song. So you take bits and pieces of a lot of your old songs and you combine it.
Yeah.
You combine it into one. So now, whenever I create today, I can reference how I sounded on certain songs, but the key thing is, how does the instrumental make me feel in the moment? So I usually get my vibe from the beat. When the beat gives me the vibe, then I express myself from my soul and my heart on how it makes me feel. So that can vary when it comes to the direction of how and what I want to say on the song. But it usually has to give me a deep feeling before I express myself lyrically, because everything that I do, I like it to come from the soul. Now, it doesn't always come from the soul. Some things I can just write and they come right there at the moment, but the music that I feel is most impactful from me is created from the vibe that I get from the beat.
Yeah, totally. I felt like there's just like an amazing evolution from track to track, from DLT, from Make It Last to
Right.
Mutual, which is all this kind of evolution, and what is changed in all this process from track to track,
I think the experience of life, because I don't rush out a lot of music, and I will say that I used to. There was times I could go in the studio and I could do 3 songs in an hour apiece. But because I'm experiencing certain things in certain seasons of my life, my music sounds different. And although when you hear my styles and you hear my experience through how I record, they still are similar. But because I create sporadically and I don't force my music to come out in a short particular amount of time, those different seasons is what you hear when you hear the different songs from me, because it's most of the time it's from a real life experience. Although some songs I write from a second point of view and a third point of view.
Yeah.
But most of the time it has to do with the season that I'm in.
Which is the process behind Mutual, because he was just like, it's amazing,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When the process behind Mutual, it went exactly like this. I heard the beat. The second that I heard the beat, it wasn't, because as an artist, I can go through 100, 200, 300 beats and I can hear nothing. I can feel nothing. And when it's that one particular beat that really just grabs the soul, the lyrics come instantly. So how it happened was, I heard the beat, my lyrics came instantly. And when I had the lyrics, I was like, this is one of those tracks that deserves a female vocalist on it. So there's an artist by the name of Gabby Rose, who's actually from Oakland, California herself. And so I hit up Gabby, and I think I had about 8 bars of the lyrics. And I let her hear 8 bars of the lyrics, and I told her to just have a way with the song and create it as if it was your own track when you create the hook and your verse. And she instantly heard it, and after that she was like, I got it. And Gabby is a phenomenal artist, by the way, Gabby Rose. Once she constructed the hook and then laid her verse to it, it just made it an easy finish for me to finish my verse. And then we laid the track. But it was based off of the fact that the beat just spoke to me instantly the second I heard it.
Amazing. How much is important for you, basically the storytelling and a cultural part in just like in your music?
I think it's super important to storytelling is one of the, I think when it comes to music, we all love to listen to music to get a good vibe, and sometimes we don't care what the lyrics are saying. We just care about the melody.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people get into spaces where they need a little bit more, so they want you to bring them into your world through your lyricism. And so for artists that have enough skill to execute a story from point A to point B over a beat and do it eloquently, I think it's a lost skill. It still exists. There's plenty of artists out there that can do it, but it's not the popular thing right now at the moment here in the US. I think that is super important to be able to do that, because that allows you to always connect with your listeners and your fans on another level that most artists can't do.
You know, and
into the artist world.
Totally. You know, in the remix of with a young breed, you know, you're talking just like about like being independent and the independence. You know, how much it's hard for you to stay independent as an artist. You know, maybe don't stay under a major label or stuff like that. You know.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm in the works of some things I'm not going to say right now, but I have a few meetings that I've had that allows me to keep my independence, but still backs me as a label. So stay tuned, because there are some things that I will reveal to the public soon.
Whoa.
But being independent for me is, one, being that I am from Oakland, California, which is one of the first places that created the independent music game when it comes to selling your artwork hand to hand out your trunk. Shout out to Too Short for that. But being independent is very important to me, especially for where I'm at in my age, because I want to be able to be as authentic and be my entire self as I can. And a lot of times when you're not independent, you have the labels telling you how and when you can do certain things. So it's not that I want full control, but I do want full control of how I want the world to be impacted by my music. And I think that being independent allows you to do that.
You know, and I love totally the fact there's a lot of quality in all your music and all your stuff, you know. You know, how much it's hard for you to, you know, how do you decide when the track is truly ready, you know, to be released?
How
many times you need to listen?
If we're talking about I have a process that I go through, but and I won't gatekeep it, because I think that each artist should consider my process before they decide to release it. Now, to each his own. However you decide to release your music is up to you. But for me, I will not release my track without it going through the stage of it being properly mixed and mastered.
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes a bit of time, because I'm going to spend top dollar to make sure that you hear quality sound. Now, there's levels to mixing and mastering your track. You can pay a little cheaper. You can pay somebody that might do it for a cheaper price. But if you want to produce music at the level of quality that I do and compete with the industry, like the big boys in the industry, you got to spend a little money. And coming out of my pocket, being an independent artist can cost, just for me to do one track can cost me $2,400. So $2,400 for one track. If you think you got 10 tracks and $2,400, you're spending $24,000 to release an album with 10 tracks on it. So I will not allow myself to release any music until it goes through that process. And then after that, I base it off of the season. Is it summer? Is it a summer theme? Is it a theme for the winter? Is it a theme for to uplift you in a sad time? Is it something controversial going on in the world where people need this song right now? So I'm going to release it on this particular date. It's all based upon taking it through the mixing and master process first.
Yeah.
And then after that, making sure that it has a market for it itself, because just because you release music doesn't mean that people are going to listen to it. So you have to be very strategic on when and how you release your music.
Totally, have you just planned some live shows now, maybe around Cali or stuff like that?
You said, do I have any live shows?
Yeah.
I actually just did a festival here at home in Oakland. So there was a festival, it's called First Fridays, and it's usually about, I would say any given moment, 1,000 to 2,000 people in the particular area. And it went really good. I have some other festivals that are coming up that I haven't gotten the full confirmation, but it looks like pretty soon I should have some confirmation on those festivals, and then I can tell people, hey, this is what I have coming up, and you can come check me out.
Yeah, and I watch you in Europe too. Hope you can come here,
Oh,
totally.
It has been a dream of mine to come to
Europe, and I'm sure that it will happen soon.
Oh, it's coming. It's definitely coming, and
yeah.
I look forward to the day that I can see you face to face.
Yeah, totally. You totally got my support for everything, and thank you so much for this interview. You rock, totally. You got my support for everything you share, for all your music, and you rock. Thank you so much.
I got a question for you before you finish.
Yeah.
So my question is, I went through your platform, and I see that you have the quality of artists that you have on your platform are not miscellaneous. Thank you so much. You've taken the time out to strategically pick out artists, right? So what was it that piqued your interest to pick me?
Just like the music, I made like a research about the artist, but then I go to listen first the music.
Right.
That's the most important thing, it's about music. So I love to leave space to all the artists from and that we're talking about music. So you got my support.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
it. We'll
keep
on touch.
We will, and I'm always down whenever you want another interview. I'll be here, man.
Sure, for the next release too. I'm here.
Yes,
totally. Have a good day. Bye.
All right.